joke. The good news is I pared my talk down to an hour and a half. For those of you who were here for my predecessor, Supervisor Caruana, you know that that wouldn't be a joke. Okay, but my talk is far shorter than that, and in the spirit of last night's announcement about Josh Allen, where else would you rather be? Right here, right now. Well, I'm guessing that probably. I'm guessing that probably each and every one of you probably has a dozen places that they'd rather be than right here, right now. But I want to start out by just thanking all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come out and listen to me give the State of the Union, or state of the town. Over the past 10 years, whether it be dealing with the shutdown of the Hutley Power Plant, which resulted in the loss of over $2 million in tax revenue to the town, COVID and everything that went along with the pandemic, or the Christmas blizzard of 2022, the town board and all of our employees never shied away from the challenges that were presented. And we continued to plow forward together, full speed ahead with a common goal, doing what's right for the town of Tonawanda. If you know me, you know I am who I am because of one person, my wife Colleen. This year, sort of like Frank, we're celebrating 40 years in business. We'll be married 40 years this year. Or as Colleen reminds me, my 40-year probation period is coming to an end. So I married up. I remind myself of that every day. There's no question about that. And I love you, honey. And I certainly appreciate everything that you do for me, and really what you do for the town of Tonawanda that nobody knows about. So thank you for that. I'm also joined by my son and son Joe and daughter-in-law Rachel, who may be better known to you as the parents of Agatha and Isabel. Okay, now I'm getting a little sick and tired of Isabel wearing that Chiefs jersey. So we gotta do something about that next year. So we look forward, and they are certainly grandchildren. There's nothing better. There's nothing better than having grandchildren. I love my children. I love my children with all my heart. But there's nothing better than grandchildren. Sorry. Okay. I want to thank the Kenton Chamber of Commerce, Kathy Paciullo, for inviting me, along with board chair, former past board chair Bob Gilmore, and Justin McFarland, for the invitation again to deliver my State of the Town address this morning. This continues to be an excellent forum for me to directly communicate with the town residents and business owners, and I am grateful for that opportunity. The town of Tonawanda, for decades, has been very fortunate to have town boards who collaborate for the good of the town. At this time, I would like to acknowledge my partners in town government here today. Councilwoman and Deputy Supervisor Gina Santa Maria, Councilman Carl Zurich, Councilwoman Jill O'Malley, and Councilman Tim Hennessy. The town is also very fortunate to have Marguerite Greco as our town clerk. My thanks to Marguerite and her outstanding staff for all that they do, not only for the town board, but for all the residents and business owners as well in the town. We are also well served to have two outstanding elected town justices, Judge Mark Ruber and Judge Pat Lennon. Judge Lennon took the bench last fall after Judge Dan Cavarello announced that he would be stepping down after serving 14 years. I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank Judge Cavarello for his outstanding service on the bench. Dan, unfortunately, is out with an illness this morning and couldn't be here, so I will certainly do that in private to him as well. As one of the largest town courts in upstate New York, the court does not run by itself. That duty falls upon our clerk of the court, Amy Rentz, and her team, who do such an outstanding job. Sometime later this year, our court will have to temporarily relocate as some work needs to be done to the building. While I can't tell you exactly when that move will occur or where they'll be moving to, I can assure you of one thing: traffic fines will still be collected. In addition to the previously mentioned elected officials, we do have one more, who in my opinion happens to be the best highway superintendent in the region, and that's Ted Ramarzak, who leads our highway department. You'll hear me say more about Ted and the men and women that he leads later. At this time, though, I would like to recognize all the other department heads who I am privileged to work with and who manage their departments with skills that are unmatched anywhere in Western New York. We cannot do what we do as elected officials without the job that these men and women do. Starting off with our police chief, Jim Stoffager, our comptroller, Debbie Schwartz, Youth Parks and Recreation Superintendent, Mark Campanella, Water Resource Director, Mike Kessler, our assessor, Jill Murphy, our building department superintendent, Scott Berry, our clerk of the court, the before-mentioned Amy Rentz, town engineer, Matt Sutton, IT director, Chuck Schultz, planning and development director, Jim Hartz, our director of labor relations, Lou Giardina, and our emergency services coordinator, Bob Lutz. One of the challenges that I face every year in preparing this address is, where do I begin? Because there's so much to talk about. I could talk for an hour and a half easily if I wanted to. Okay, where do I start? Town finances, public safety, the impact of Sumitomo, economic development projects, Paddock Park, Kenny Park. But of course, it wouldn't be a State of the Town address if I didn't mention the Huntley eminent domain action, because I've mentioned it in every State of the Town address that I've given, and this is my 10th. So I'll start with what I believe is the most important job that we have as a town board, and that's the public safety and well-being of our community. Public safety remains at the top of the priorities for all of us on the town board, and under the leadership of Chief Jim Stoffager, our police department remains committed to its mission of being an exemplary public safety organization and continues to serve the community with professionalism and dedication. Like most law enforcement agencies in today's times, recruitment and retention of law enforcement officers present an ongoing challenge, both nationally and locally. Last week, I attended Mayor John White of the city of Tonawanda, his State of the City, and John is joining us this morning. Thank you, John, for coming. And he mentioned in his talk that they are facing the same challenges. In response to those challenges, our town police department has intensified its recruitment efforts using social media advertising and participating in collaborative law enforcement job fairs alongside local and federal partners at venues such as Niagara University and the Amherst Police Department's training facility. Additionally, the department has initiated outreach to military recruitment stations, highlighting the department's appreciation for skills and experience that veterans can bring to the workforce. With the full support of the town board, our police department continues to enhance officer training and equipment. These improvements are vital for recruitment and retention as they contribute to officer safety, thereby reducing the risk of injury or fatality and create opportunities for professional development and job satisfaction. Building public trust through professionalism is also a key focus, enhancing the fulfillment that comes from serving the community. Community engagement has become a significant organizational priority in our police department, and it is yielding positive results. In December of 2024, the department expanded the Community Services Bureau by adding Detective Michelle McCormick and a full-time behavioral health specialist. This initiative aims at strengthening outreach efforts and increase public trust, which is essential in attracting a new generation of police officer candidates eager to contribute to the town of Tonawanda. Our paramedics, who were founded in 1974, celebrated their 50th anniversary in 2024. They have conservatively saved thousands of lives, and you would be hard-pressed to find anyone in town who either hasn't been aided directly by them or knows someone who was aided by them. The paramedics, along with the James V. and Faye Ryan Paramedic Foundation, are certainly part of the fabric of who we are as Tonawandans. Late last fall, you probably heard that we announced that the town will be launching a new ambulance service sometime in 2025. The town has always been known as a leader in providing emergency services in the region, and this service will only enhance that reputation. Just on a side note, this lectern is made for shorter people. and I got a multitasking here, trying to make sure that things don't go flying all over the place. But such are the problems when you're tall. Nobody feels sorry for me, I know. Back to the ambulance. The ambulance service, when fully operational later this year, will be the best in class and will certainly overall improve our town's emergency services. The town was the leader when our paramedic service was founded 50 years ago, and once again we are leading the way with our ambulance corps. While we may be the first local municipality who, along with the county did it a couple years ago, to enter into this field, I can guarantee you we will not be the last municipality to enter it. I want to thank Chief Soffiger and his team, along with all the men and women who work at our Fauner Public Safety Building, who help keep our community safe. While I haven't done it for a few years, I do need to spend some time on the budget in my talk today. As all of us have experienced within our own household budgets, so too has the town felt the crunch of inflation and rising prices that have impacted our town budget in a big way. For the first time since its inception in 2012, the 2025 town budget did not stay under the New York State tax cap. But looking at it in the big picture, since 2012, overall, the tax levy increase has remained right about 2% per year. So yes, we went over it in 2025, but over the last 12 years, we've stayed right about that 2% level. And let's be honest, no one likes to pay taxes, even town supervisors. But the question all of us in this room have to ask ourselves is, are we getting the most bang for our buck on the taxes we are paying? So let's take a quick look. Public safety, excellent service. In 2024, the Town of Tonawanda Police Department was named a Law Enforcement Agency of the Year, not only for Erie County, but in all of New York State by the American Legion New York State Council. Highway sanitation, excellent service. You will be hard-pressed to find anyone who finds fault with the job our crews do there. In fact, I have people tell me every year that they've moved back into the town for the services that our highway departments provides. Recreational facilities, excellent. Over a half century, our town has been considered the gold standard of recreational facilities in New York State, and with the recent investments and added venues, that gold standard designation will continue for a very long time into the future. Water and sewer infrastructure, excellent. The town over the past 15 years has invested over $100 million replacing aging infrastructure and will be spending at least that amount in the next 15 years. Remember what I've said on many occasions at this talk in prior years, investing in water and sewer infrastructure is investing in economic development. Lastly, our emergency services. Excellent. As I just mentioned with our paramedics and our soon-to-be in operation ambulance corps, there isn't a community in New York State who offers these services to their residents at the level that the town of Tonawanda does. I'm sure that not everyone agrees with me, and they think that the taxes are too high. And they think they do not get enough bang for their buck. I would invite those individuals to please call me. I am open to listening to anyone who wants to talk to me on that topic. But be prepared to tell me what services you want to cut, because town government is primarily about providing services. Providing services, in order to do that, you have to have personnel. And in order to have that personnel, those services cost money. And to get those excellent services, you need to do those things. So I'm very proud of the services that our town provides. And yes, they do cost money. I'm very proud again of the job that our employees do in providing these excellent services we have. And I'm not embarrassed to say that those services do cost money. And I am not going to get rid of the paramedics. I am not going to get rid of our privatized garbage. And those are the two things that, I could cut taxes tomorrow significantly by doing those two things alone. And that's not going to happen as long as I am town supervisor, and I know the town board feels that way as well. With all that being said, I am very pleased to report that the town remains in good financial shape while maintaining its status as the only truly full-service community in Western New York. So let's get to some of the development that is going on in the town. I want to start with our River Road corridor, which holds a big part of the future of our town. Since 2015, it's been one of the primary focus areas in the town for development and redevelopment. We've experienced some ups and some downs in those 10 years, most notably the closing of the former Huntley coal-fired plant and the former Tonawanda coke plant. But thanks to the efforts of John Williams and others and his team, along with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, our Tonawanda working group, portions of the former Tonawanda coke site look to be ready for development and redevelopment early next year. Considering that they just took control of the site in 2020, that is rapid, fast speed to get that site cleaned up. Cleanup cost at the Tonawanda coke site over $80 million. $80 million. I met with John earlier this week to get an update, and I'm very excited for the town to hear what could be in the future for that site. I can't announce anything today, so I'll leave that for next year's talk. Our ongoing battle to get site control of the Huntley power plant continues. Believe it or not, operations ceased at the site 9 years ago this month. That's amazing. And the site is still not cleaned up. The current owner has fought the town every step along the way. I'm happy to report today that after years of fighting the town in court, at every level, the former owner has exhausted all of their appeals. The town is now wrapping up our appraisal that we will need to take possession of the site, and we are preparing an RFP that will go out to all interested parties who have expressed an interest to remediate and redevelop the property in the next 30 to 60 days. The next step is finally in the town's hands, and we are taking those steps as we speak. And now a project that has been in the works for over a decade and has the whole town buzzing. That project, of course, is our historical recreation enhancement project at the former Brighton Park, now Paddock Park and Lincoln Park. There is nothing like Paddock Park in the state, and maybe not in the entire Northeast. On one street in the town, there is an 18-hole golf course, an indoor ice arena, indoor and outdoor golf driving ranges, miniature golf, batting cages, a rugby soccer pitch, beach volleyball courts, pickleball courts, a picnic grove, sledding hill, spray park, and a partridge in a pear tree. I want to thank Brighton Park, where Brighton Arena once stood. We all remember Brighton Arena. It was there for 66 years. Paddock Chevrolet Ice and Arena now is operating for hockey, figure skating, learn to skate programs, which my granddaughters participate in, and much, much more. The Construction Exchange of Buffalo and Western New York calls it a transformative community development project that has redefined the town's community recreational landscape and elevated its sporting facilities. Paddock Park and all it has to offer is a result of over a decade of careful planning and hard work. making the Tonawanda an even more attractive destination for families and businesses looking to locate and relocate here. I am grateful to everyone who has been involved in this project. Paddock Park is a new crown jewel of our gold standard of our Youth Parks and Recreation Department, and today, more than ever, it reflects that the town of Tonawanda is indeed a great place to live, work, and play. Not to be forgotten in this transformation that has taken place over the past 15 months is the former Lincoln Park Ice Arena, now our Lincoln Park Athletic Complex. It is amazing what has happened there, and the facility is now being utilized by young and old alike for sports training by schools as well as private youth sports groups. Parents are even bringing their children who are homeschooled for their physical education classes, and seniors utilize the venue for daily walking and exercise during the winter months. The town has also responded to the pickleball craze with courts at 4 locations: Paddock Park, the town senior center, Mang Park, and 2 indoor courts at Lincoln Park, as well as our new outdoor courts that will open in front of the Aquatic and Fitness Center on Sheridan Drive. But Paddock Park and Lincoln Parks were not the only parks that we know that needed upgrades. We are seeing major developments in other parks as well. Kenny Park is now home to new trails and a new inclusive playground for all children, regardless of their physical, intellectual, or developmental abilities and differences. It features adaptive equipment ramps, ground level play options, and sensory activities. I can't tell you how proud I am and the town board is to have this inclusive playground at Kenny Park. And with that, I'm going to be honest with you, it was not universally accepted by some of our residents. I want to give special thanks to our Youth Parks and Recreation Superintendent Mark Campanella and his dedicated team, as well as the town's 2024 Youth Parks and Recreation Committee, chaired by Councilman Carl Zurich, for yeoman's work in one of the busiest, most productive years on record for our Youth Parks and Recreation program. On to Sumitomo. Anyone who has been paying attention knows that the town and region suffered a major blow in November with the announcement by Sumitomo Rubber that they were closing their Tonawanda plant. It was a major blow for sure, but we can't dwell on the past. We now need to concentrate on the future. Collaborating with Erie County, Workforce Buffalo, the United Steelworkers Union, New York State Department of Labor, an online resource page was developed for the workers, providing personalized job placement services, including resume development, job leads, and job search assistance, career counseling, and guidance. To date, we have had 2 job fairs which have attracted over 600 former workers at Sumitomo, and more than 100 employers were there as vendors. And I'm happy to say in about 5 minutes, our 3rd job fair will be taking place over at our Lincoln Park Athletic Complex from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock this afternoon. Just last week, the Erie County Sumitomo Task Force, chaired by County Executive Mark Poloncarz, which I am a member of, met for the first time at our wastewater plant to discuss all of these issues and many more. As County Executive Poloncarz said, we are in the 1st or 2nd inning of a 9-inning ball game with Sumitomo. But I believe that Sumitomo officials have been, for the most part, transparent and cooperative, which will only help in finding a new user for the property. I am hopeful that by the end of this year, with all the parties working together, a new owner will be identified for the site who will occupy the site for the next 100 years. Some more good news on the development front can be found at Colvin Woods Business Park. You may recall in last year's State of the Town, I highlighted EMA Life and their $30 million new build for a new high-tech freeze-drying manufacturing facility. Phase 1 of that project is well underway, as you probably noticed if you've driven along the Youngman. And just last month, EMA Life announced that Phase 2 of the project has been approved with an additional 35,000 square feet to be added. Construction of Phase 1 is expected to be completed in mid-2025, and Phase 2 is expected to be completed in the spring of 2026. There is other big development news coming as well, but as I hope you can appreciate, and there are some developers in this room, the developers would rake me over the coals if I announced anything before they did. So Tonawanda has long been a site for the national site developers' eyes for years due to our location. And that will continue to be an attractive destination for companies to locate and relocate here. Last April, the town board adopted a new comprehensive zoning law amendment. The last comprehensive zoning law was written over, I think, 50 years ago, so I guess it was time to do it. It promotes a new mixed-use waterfront district to attract people-friendly uses and charts a new path forward in accordance with the town's comprehensive plan. The proposed law contains new protections for residential neighborhoods, such as home occupation regulations, and a very timely topic, if you've read the paper recently, a short-term rental ban in single-family residential districts. There is also new requirements for a minimum lot size and accessory structure sizes. The revised law will be a clear and concise law that streamlines the process for future development projects and eliminates the question of what can I do with my property. I told you I would come back to our highway department, so here we are. The dedication and excellent work of the men and women who comprise this department should not come as any surprise. These are the same men and women who were on the front lines during the Christmas blizzard of 2022, working around the clock to clear the streets for first responders and residents, and the town was back to normal in short order. Under the leadership of Superintendent Ted Romarzek, we had to look beyond our own budget and partner with the federal and state governments to secure grants for things such as the purchase of vehicles and equipment, the materials to resurface roadways, and the purchase of trees, to name a few. We could have not done this on our own. We have great corporate partners like Lindy Tonawanda, which has participated in our tree planting program for over 2 decades now. The Ken Sheraton Garden Club and Kenmore Garden Club are among the clubs that help beautify our community, and we are very grateful for their services. There is much more, but I think you get the big picture here. The Town Highway Department plays a critical role in maintaining and improving our town infrastructure, which makes Tonawanda an even better place to live, work, and play. Town Councilman Tim Hennessy, Highway Committee Chair in 2024, said it best, I believe, when he said that the department does a fantastic job improving the quality of life for our town residents, and that's certainly true. Our Water Resources Department. In 2024, the town initiated a water quality initiative in response to the U.S. EPA's lead and copper rule revisions, which impacts all water utilities in the country. Through our water quality initiative, the town has completed an inventory of more than half of the 23,821 service lines in our water system, and they've only found 4 lead service lines among the 12,751 of the connections inventoried to date. That leaves approximately 46% of the service line connections have yet to be inventoried. When that process is complete, very few lead lines are expected to be found on the significant historical records review and in-home inspections completed to date. Last November, town residents with unknown lead or galvanized service lines received a letter with information on how they can determine the types of water service line in their residences, as well as links and resources for the residents who would like additional information. Believe it or not, a big aid in doing this study was the Buffalo Historical Society. They worked with us to go back. We were able to go back and look at records that builders used back in the 1950s, 40s, and we were able to determine what kind of pipes were used. It cut a lot of time, and when you save time, you're saving money. Kudos to Mike Kessler and his team, Noel, for the job that they did in getting that job almost done. In 2037, the town will be required to certify that there are no residential or business water service line left in the system. Service line constructed with outdated materials will be flagged for replacement, and the town will work with the town residents in the short term to mitigate the potential exposure of lead in drinking water. And you can see we have a pretty good head start on it. 2037, the last time I checked my math, was 12 years away. So we're in good shape. Work on the water treatment plant filter improvement project will begin this spring. This is a $10.36 million project that will be paid for with ARPA funds, a $3 million wastewater or a water infrastructure improvement grant, and the remainder will be bonded. Water is cheap. The delivery of water, not so cheap, expensive, okay? We have the Niagara River right in our backyard, Lake Erie. It's up to us as elected officials, government officials, to make sure that our people are supplied with an ample amount of water. I know these projects don't get the headlines that some of our other development news get in the media, but they are just as much, if not more important. After public safety, there is nothing more important, in my opinion, than for elected officials to make sure the residents and businesses in our town can turn on their faucets for safe, clean water and be able to flush their toilets. It sounds simple, but sometimes it isn't. My thanks to Mike Kessler and the Water Resource Department and 2024 Committee Chair Joe O'Malley and their team for all the hard work in keeping the water flowing in the town. We have so many other departments, committees, volunteers, and service clubs that all contribute to make our community what they are, and they are no less important to our success as a town. Then, of course, there is one of our premier corporate citizens in town, Kenmore Mercy Hospital. In 2024, Kenmore Mercy earned its 22nd consecutive A-grade safety grade rating from the Leapfrog Group. This demonstrates how safe the hospitals keep patients from errors, injuries, accidents, and infections. It is one of 26 hospitals in the country and the only one in New York State to earn this distinction. Also from the Leapfrog Group, Kenmore Mercy received a Top Hospital Award. The hospital is one of only 36 hospitals in the country and one of only 2 in New York State to receive the Top General Hospital Award. Kudos to Walt Ludwig, wherever you are, Walt, and your team for all that you do. In December, Kenmore Mercy hosted its first ever Christmas tree lighting ceremony, where they welcomed the community for what will be an annual tradition. Along those participating were the Mount St. Mary's Academy Choir, Kentown Chamber of Commerce President Kathy Paciullo, and yours truly had a part in the program. I had the honor of being the individual who got to flick the switch to turn on the lights at the first tree lighting ceremony. And I would hope 100 years from now that is duly noted, Walt, that the town supervisor, Joe Emminger, flicked the switch. Thank you to Walt Ludwig and his team for all that they do for our region. Okay, the town of Tonawanda has long been known as a full-service, premier residential community by offering unmatched quality services and by running an efficient government. We do not do this in a silo. Our partners at the county, state, and federal levels all contribute to the success of the town. We are fortunate to have excellent working relationships with our representatives in Albany and Washington, including Governor Kathy Hochul, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Christine Gillibrand, and Senator Tim Kennedy. We are also very grateful for the work in the state Assembly and Senate on behalf of the town by my former colleague on the town board, Assemblyman Bill Conrad, and Senator Sean Ryan. We also continue to enjoy excellent working relationships with County Executive Mark Polenkars, who is here today, Deputy County Executive Lisa Shamara, who's here, County Legislator John Bernese, who's here, Mike Gashoian, and Erie County District Attorney Mike Kane. To give you an idea how important these relationships are, since 2020, we have received grants totaling over $20 million, not including any ARPA monies, which totaled over $40 million. We are very aggressive on grants. That's one of the reasons I believe that we're able to keep our taxes affordable. There isn't a grant that we won't go after, and that's the instruction we've given our department heads and that we've given our grant writer. Go after everything. Are there challenges ahead? Yes, there sure are challenges ahead. But when you have a good team in place and the people ready to execute the game plan, the challenges become opportunities. And those opportunities bring new developments and engagement from the public. There is absolutely nothing that we as a town can't accomplish, but we need to do it together. I believe the best is yet to come. So I invite everyone to join in and participate in the opportunity of a lifetime and make Tonawanda an even greater place to live, work, and play. I do have one public service announcement, I guess, before I conclude, and that is town board members, community leaders, along with myself, will be attending the 38th annual Jerry Star Sleepout tonight at Kenmore East High School. Named after a very popular and beloved teacher in the Kentown School District, the Sleepout, which began in 1988, highlights the need to make people aware of people in need and show that we are committed and we are ready to take action. So if any of you can swing by Kenmore East tonight starting at 7 o'clock, they are accepting donations of food, clothing, personal care, and household items that will go to those less fortunate. They'll be easy to spot where they are. Just look for the barrel fires and the cardboard boxes. Thank you. And finally, as I conclude, I do want to give one more thank you, as this individual is getting set to retire this summer, and that's CEO, President of our chamber, Kathy Paciullo. Kathy took over the reins in 2017 after serving as a board member for 20 years, and since that time has done much to elevate the businesses in our community. She changed the way the chamber did business, and she worked tirelessly as an advocate for their causes. On behalf of all of us here present, Kathy, I only have one simple wish for you, that you have a long, happy, healthy, and safe retirement. Can we have a round of applause for Kathy? So thank you again for attending this morning. Thank you for making our town what it is and our region what it is. And if I may add just one last time, go Bills. Thank you, everyone.